This video will show you how to create escape rooms with Genially. Genially is a web tool that creates engaging, interactive visual content, including presentations, infographics, and escape rooms. The best part is they've already created a ton of fun and engaging templates that you can simply download and edit, so you don't have to worry if you know how to code or if you know any advanced computer skills. Really, anyone can use it. So let's get started. Just like any web tool, you're going to need to first create an account. So in the top right-hand corner, you'll see the sign up. Like other tools, it's going to ask for your birth date. It's going to ask you to sign in with an email address. You can create a free account. They do have premium options. If you ever find that you really love Genially, you can upgrade for a few dollars a month. But for now, I would just recommend starting with the free version because they still have a lot of content that you can use. Once you have an account, you can log in. Once you've logged in, it will take you to your dashboard. In the middle area here, it will show you anything you've already created with Genially or the templates you have downloaded and are currently editing. So right here you can see the ones I've either created or are currently working on. Now to create a new one, you have two options. You can either click here or here. So I'm going to click here. Now it's going to ask you what you want to create. Since we're going to look for an escape room, we're going to go over here to gamification. Click create. Now it's going to start showing all their templates related to gamification, and there's quite a few. So what you should do is come over here to the left and come down to escape rooms so that it just shows you their escape rooms. So as you can see here, they've already created a ton of templates that are escape rooms. All you have to do is really edit them, add the questions, the answers, any other text you want, and it's done. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pick this one right here, the imposter one. Now before I do that, let me just show you, this star means it's premium. Premium means you actually have to have the account or the paid version to be able to use it. But as you can see, you have a variety of ones that are going to be free. So I'm going to click here in the middle, and now it's going to pull up the game or the template. What I recommend to do first thing is to just try it out a little to make sure it's something you like, something that kind of makes sense, and overall whether you think the kids would like it. So I'm just going to kind of look at this current one. So it's going to give you the text. You can see what the basic idea of this escape room is. And then it's going to give you this part here where it has just some gibberish. This is just where you're going to edit that to put whatever question you want. You're going to write your correct answer and your wrong answer. But for now, it has it like this so that you can go through it to see whether you like it. So even though it's fake questions, you can just go through it, see whether you think this is kind of the right template. So as you can see, this is kind of based on the Among Us game. So students are going to be answering questions, and as they do, it's going to move them along to different sections. So they're going to have different rooms where it's going to have different criteria for them to pass. So they actually have to complete one room before going to the next. So it's going to show the next section. It's going to give the questions. Again, it's telling you what the true answers are going to be and what one you have to select. So in this one, because there's aliens, it's asking you to drag the light around to find it. So you go through the template, you make sure you like it. Now once you do, let's say I've gone through this all and I like it, you come here and you can click to use this template. So now it's going to download everything for you. So give it a second. Once the template downloads, it's going to have all the slides over here on the left. So the game already works. Everything's already connected exactly as it should be. The only thing you really need to do at a minimum is change the questions and the answers. Now, if you want to do more, you absolutely can. But at a minimum, you just need to change the questions and the answers. But everything can be changed. So for instance, if I move my mouse over here, you can see how there's a little box around it. If I come over here, that means you can interact with it. So if I click, now I can start editing it. So right here, it's talking about the basic overview of what the game is. And aliens entered the ship, and we got to try to find out who it is before they take over. This is kind of based on that game Among Us, which a lot of the students already play and know. But let's say I want to add in a little bit about Texas history. And I'm going to add in the best way to identify who this alien is of course to assess everyone's knowledge of Texas history, because clearly that's the best way. But I can also make it a little bit more interactive. So let's say I highlight Texas history. I can come up here, see where it's interactive. If I click that, you see you have these options if you wanted to put a link. Like, for instance, maybe you wanted them to have a text that they needed to read to answer these questions, or go somewhere online, or pop something up. Let's add a tooltip that's just going to say something cute like, yes, Texas history. You can see how you can edit pictures, videos, whatever you need. So for instance, if you wanted to have a video where you're explaining what they need to do, you could have that. You could have links. But I'm just going to have something like, yes, Texas history. Now I'm saving it. So we got that. Let me add a period, because literacy is important, and they need to know punctuation matters. All right, now let's scroll down to the first question. So this is going to be the first time they're going to be asked a question. So all you got to do again, you move your mouse right over the text. You see the little box. I click, and now I just write what question I want them to answer. So since I just said it was Texas history, let's say which Texas president wanted Texas to join the U.S. as a state. Now, it's already telling you where you need to put the right answer, because it means when they click this, it's going to automatically go to the correct page. And that one's going to take them to a page that says they got it wrong. So you got to make sure you put the right answer here, unless you're going to make a bunch of changes later. So I'm going to say, type Sam Houston, and then Mr. Lamar. All right, so we got our first question. Now we can scroll back up and we can test it to make sure it works. So you see I moved it back up to that first one. I'm going to come up here, and I want to make sure I like it so far. So I'm going to hit the preview. Okay, so let's just make sure that the changes we just made are there. So I'm going to hit start, and it's going to give that introduction. So as you can see, that last sentence I added is right down here where it says the best way to identify the alien is to assess everyone's knowledge of Texas history. And then if I go over here and I click on Texas history, which I made interactable, it says yes, Texas history. So everything's working. I go forward. It's going to give that little intro of what they need to do with closing the door. And now it's going to give the first question that we changed. So it has which Texas president wanted Texas to join the U.S. as a state. Now, one thing I didn't show you earlier was occasionally it's good to see what happens when the students choose the wrong answer. So before I pick Houston, let me show you what happens in this game when you choose the wrong one, or at least at this part. So I'm going to hit Lamar, and I'm going to choose the wrong one. And so the students will be told they were wrong, and they can try again. So they can come back, and then they can choose the correct answer, Sam Houston. Now, in this one, it's a very basic, simplistic escape game. You can do escape games that are a little bit more complicated, that if they get it wrong, like they got to start all the way over, or they got to do something else. But for this one, they're just going right back to the question. So let's choose the right answer, Mr. Houston. And you see it's advancing them in the game. So you see the thing is starting to close, and they got to continue to answer more questions. So now that we know that it's working, let's go back and start editing other questions. So I come up here, and I'm going to click Edit, and I'm going to continue editing. So I can come down to where we were. This is where the next question was. I could type in the next question and the next answer and continue on. And you can see there's other areas, and all of this you can change if you want. Eventually, when they get to a different type of room, it's going to switch up the different types of questions. So in this section, this one is asking them to say which crew member is not telling the truth. So it's like you'll have 2 true answers and a lie. Now, if you don't like that, if you think that's going to trip up the kids, you can just change that type of question, again, however you like. If you want to just make these two wrong answers and this the correct answer, you can. So let me move forward. Now let's move to the section where you have to add pictures. So, because all the other ones where you're just changing the questions are similar, but some of them you might have to put a question, or sorry, a picture. So let me show you how to do that real quick. Okay, so this question asks for you to put some pictures there for them to choose from. So the first thing we're going to do is put a question, but before I do that, I need to fix the spelling error that they left in there. So now I'm going to come down here, and let's say this question is going to be about maps of the Republic of Texas. So I need to add some pictures. So right here, it's asking for the right answer. So once I click on that, I can see this option here to replace. So I'm going to replace that picture with the correct picture. So I click that, and there's a variety of ways to put pictures. Like you can search through Giphies that are animated, you can look through scenes, but for this I'm just going to go to my computer and I'm going to select the Republic of Texas. And then we got right here. Now over here, it wants a wrong answer. So I gotta go find a wrong answer. So if I click here, I can look in my computer. Let's choose this one. Okay, so I'm gonna select that. So now I don't want to leave that right answer and wrong answer because that will give it away to the students. So I'm just selecting that and deleting it. So now we have the second question. Or not the second question, but the second type of questions where you're adding pictures. So now I'm going to continue on. And as you can see, the next part's just pretty basic. So all we really need to do is edit all the questions that you need. And then once you're done, it's going to have your final slide of what they do when you win. So if you wanted to change that, you could, or if not, you could leave it as it already is. Okay, so let's say that you've gone through and you've edited all the questions exactly how you want, all the answer choices like you want. Maybe you customize the ending, maybe the beginning, however you like. Now you're done. What do you do next? What you got to do is you come up here to all set. That's going to take it out of draft mode. So I click that. And then it's going to ask how you want to share it. So if you want it public online or private, you can put a password on it. You can make it reusable. You can change the title if you want and add a description. Once you're done, you hit all set. So I'm going to add Texas history because I have a couple of these. I hit all set. And now it's going to save it. Save it out of draft. It's always going to be saving. So if you started it and you don't finish it, it's not going to delete. It'll still be there in draft mode. But you have to do this part if you want to be able to share it or download it so that others can use it. So as you see now, I have the option to view it, to share it, or to download it. So if you wanted to share it, for instance, if you want to put it in Schoology for your students, you can now get this as a link. You go into Schoology and you drop that link. Then students are going to go and they'll be able to complete the game. Okay, now let's go back to the dashboard. So I move my cursor over here, right here, click that, and it's going to take us back to the dashboard. And now you're going to see it's right there. So give it a second. And now it's popping up. So as you can see, it's going to be right here. And if you have many others. So if I ever wanted to edit it, if I wanted to change the questions or fix something, I just need to click here. It's going to take me back to that part where I can edit it. If I again want to present it or download it, I have these options. If you want to add another person who wants to work and collaborate with you, you click there. Sharing it. And then this options feature allows you to either rename it or to make a duplicate copy or to move it, to see statistics, or to delete it.